retro fans, welcome back to RGF RetroGameForce. And guys, today in this episode I bring you a game for the Sega Saturn, a Japanese exclusive for the Sega Saturn that is actually nothing special. Here it is, Dance Mix Volume 1 from the Sega Saturn, a karaoke dance-based game that is actually nothing special for the European and American owners of the Saturn, but it has a really interesting story in behind. This game actually uses the graphical engine built up for two gigantic unreleased games for the Saturn, and the games were Shenmue and Virtua Fighter 3, two juggernaut games that was never released to the Saturn. So guys, let's check the story behind and actually check the footage of the game running. Stay tuned!
In 1996, it was clear that the Saturn was not doing well outside of Japan, and one of the most noticeable issues was the poor performance on 3D render games compared with the Sony PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. One specific department of Sega was in charge to develop a 3D engine for the Saturn that could change the consumer idea that the system could not handle proper 3D. This department was the famous AM2. They already were responsible for amazing arcade ports for the Saturn like Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Cop 2, Fighting Vipers and Fighters Megamix. These guys were trying to do new things. The idea was to bring Virtua Fighter 3 to the system even if an extra card drive RAM was needed. So they start to developing a really powerful 3D engine capable of handling detailed polygons in huge amount with real-time lightning effects in 60-30 consistent frames per second. The engine was so impressive that Yuzo Suzuki started the development of his new game, Virtua Fighter RPG, today known as Shenmue, based on this engine. The results were amazing, and the developers in AM2 were proud. The visuals were great, way ahead of what we could see on the PS1 and N64. But dark clouds were surrounding the Saturn. Sega was considering abandoning the system, since they were losing money, a lot of money. The system was not selling, and third-partner support was slowly abandoning the Saturn. The fact that Virtua Fighter 3 and Shenmue needed an extra RAM, and still a lot of effort on development was needed, was making these two games not appealing on the business case. So Sega decided to move on from the Saturn and started working on their Katana project, the successor for the Saturn, and due to budget constraints, all projects that made use of this new 3D engine were stopped, and the teams were kindly asked to move their projects to the next Sega console. But the Saturn was still doing well inside of Japan, and Sega got a deal to use Nami Amuro, a singer that was hugely popular in Japan, on a dance and karaoke game, and the only system that Sega had was the Saturn. This being said, AM2 offered themselves to use their new 3D engine to power the game and showcase all their work. And so the game was released in 1997, Digital Dance Mix Volume 1, Nami Amuro, using what is probably the most advanced 3D engine on the Saturn, detailed polygons, lightning effects, transparencies, and butter fluid frame rate. The game was simple and did not make use of the extra RAM card drive. The game itself is just for the fans of Nami Amuro. You can dance, you can change clothes, and you can even use the cartoonish version of Amuro. Nothing really special. This is a good example of a missed opportunity to showcase what the Saturn could do with 3D games, but the system was kind of already abandoned worldwide. I leave you guys with some more footage of this game. Meanwhile, if you like this video, leave me a comment and a thumbs up, and consider to subscribe. You will get more videos like this for sure in the future. And until the next video, bye bye!